Hey friends, it's Jules. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. I am back to do a cozy mystery reading vlog. So this vlog is going to be food themed. I'm only going to be reading food themed cozies. So I am doing this vlog for March Mystery Madness. So I decided for this readathon that I am going to be reading books that were published in the last decade. So the 4 books that I have selected were published between the years 2015 and 2025. I do only have the physical copy of one of these books. The others I will be either on my Kindle or audio or a combination of both. So I'm going to be reading A Matter of Life and Death by Ellie Alexander. This was published in 2015. The Crepes of Wrath by Sarah Fox. This was published in 2016. Murder Lo Mein by Vivian Chin. This was published in 2019. This is the book I have because I have the whole series. And 6 Feet Deep Dish by Mindy Quigley was published in 2022. So those are the books that I will be reading for this vlog. So the first one, I'm just going to go in order by when they were published. So the first one I'm going to read is A Matter of Life and Death. This is book 2 in the Bake Shop mystery. I do own the first book. I love the covers of these books, y'all. I'm interested in owning these, but there's a lot of them. And y'all know I already have a full bake themed cozy mystery series that I have collected from Joanne Fluke. So I don't know if I want a whole nother series on my shelf, but I love these covers, and I love the punniness of their titles. And anyway, I don't know yet. I loved the first book, so I want to continue maybe a few more books in the series before I decide if I'm going to collect them. But the 20th book just came out in February, and the 21st book is being released in August. So I got some catching up to do. So let me tell you what this one's about. First, let me just tell you some of these titles. The first one's obviously Meet Your Baker. A Matter of Life and Death. On Thin Icing. Caught Bread Handed. Fudge and Jury. Actually, let me just bring this out here. A Crime of Passion Fruit. Trouble is Brewing. Another One Bites the Crust. Till Death Do Us Tart. Live and Let Pie. A Cup of Holiday Fear. Nothing But Trouble. Chilled to the Cone. Mocha She Wrote. A Brunch with Death. Bake, Borrow, and Steal. Donut Disturb. Muffin But the Truth. Catch Me If You Candy. A Smoking Bun. Sticks and Scones. Killing Me Souffle. Laying Down the Latte. Like, how can you not love the titles of these books? Like, seriously. Okay, so A Matter of Life and Death is what I'm reading. It's autumn in Ashland, Oregon. That's a bummer because it's not autumn, and I love autumn, but it'll just take me back to the vibes of autumn. The thing I do love about cozy, if you're a hardcore cozy mystery reader, you can read an out of season book anytime. Like, I could read a Christmas cozy right now, it wouldn't bother me. I mean, do I prefer to read them in the season they're in? Yes, but it doesn't bother me if they're not. So it says, it's autumn in Ashland, Oregon. 'Tis the season for a spiced hot apple cider with a serving or two of Tort's famous peach cobbler. So good. Oh, there better be recipes. I'm about to make a peach cobbler, y'all. It's also the perfect time for Jules Capshaw to promote her family's beloved bake shop by competing in the Pastry Channel's reality show, Take the Cake. The prize is... Are you done walking around? Tippy tappies always. The prize is $25,000, but as Jules quickly learns, some people would kill for that kind of dough, literally. Then, just as Jules dusts off her Bavarian chocolate cake recipe and cinches up her apron, the corpse of a fellow contestant is discovered death by buttercream. What began as a fun, tasteful televised adventure has morphed into something of a true crime detective show for Jules and everybody on the set. Who could have killed Chef Marco and why? Can Jules sift out the killer before someone else gets burned? It sounds amazing. So, okay, I think these have recipes. Let me check the other. Let me check the first book. Okay, yes, there are recipes, and that is why I love foodie cozy mysteries that have recipes in them, and that is why I like to collect them, is because then I have recipes, which I know you can probably get the recipes somewhere, but y'all, I may have to buy these books. Thrift books, here I come. I do remember out of the first book, I made the raspberry Danish, and it was good. So yeah, I think I may have to buy it so I can, let me see if it's on Kindle Unlimited. If so, at least for this one, or maybe, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this book's gonna have a cobbler recipe in it, a peach cobbler recipe, and I'm here for it. I love any kind of cobbler. I love fruit cobbler of any kind. I would like to make a recipe from every one of these books, pending that they have them. Let me see if, or even if they don't, based on the theme, I could make a recipe kind of like it. I don't think these have recipes. Yeah, okay. Which I wouldn't even know the first thing on how to make Chinese food. So no recipes in the Noodle Shop mystery, but maybe I'll get some Chinese takeout or something when I read this book. So just be prepared for making food or getting food, eating food, something foodie in this foodie cozy mystery vlog. Okay, I will be back when I have updates on this book. Okay, change of plans already. I'm not going to start with A Matter of Life and Death because I already have that on Audible. So I don't have to, my time's not running out to read that. I checked my Libby, and 2 of the books I'm reading for this vlog are due back in 5 days. So we're going to wait on the other. And I also purchased it from Thrift Books. I checked and my library doesn't have it. They only have e-copies of it. And they're in use. There's only 2 of them. They're in use, and it's like a 3-week wait. So I just bit the bullet, and I went ahead and bought the second book from Thrift Books. So that'll be on its way. So we'll read that when it gets here. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and start with, since I already have the copy of it, and it's one of the ones that's due back in 5 days, I'm going to start with Murder Lo Mein. So this is the 3rd book in the series. And synopsis of this says, Lana Lee's stakes in her family's Chinese restaurant is higher than ever now that she's been made manager. So when she enters Ho Lee into Cleveland's Best Noodle Contest, Lana makes it her business to win at all costs. But when a local food critic receives a threatening note in a fortune cookie and is later found dead, face down in a bowl of lo mein, all bets are off. Now, along with her sweet and sour boyfriend, Detective Adam Trudeau, Lana decides to take matters into her own hands and dig into the lives of everyone involved in the contest. But when she receives an ill-fated fortune, Lana realizes that in order to save the reputation of her restaurant, she needs to save herself first. So I'm excited to get to this. I hope I like this better than book 2. Like I said, I really enjoyed the first book. Book 2 was just okay, but hoping this is better. So this is what I'm starting with. And then the second book that I'm going to read is The Crepes of Wrath, because it's also due back in 5 days. So those are the 2 books that I'm going to be reading first. And then the other 2 books, like I said, I don't have a time crunch on them. 6 Feet Deep Dish, I have 20 days on that. I just checked that out from Hoopla. And then, of course, Matter of Life and Death, I'll read when there's no time frame on that because I'm going to own it. Anyway, okay, so I'll be back when I have thoughts on this book for you. So this vlog is not off to a good start. I started Murder Lo Mein, and I got to page 66. And I decided that I'm gonna DNF it. So I enjoyed book 1. Book 2, I gave 3 stars. I didn't really love it. I thought there was a little too much bickering between the sisters in that one. And in this one, there's just so much bickering between everybody that I'm like, how old are we? Like, everybody in this just sounds like they're a child. Like, they're just bickering. And I don't know if that's because that's the writing or if it's the narrator that's making it seem that way. Because I am listening to this on audiobook, and I do not like the audio. Like, I just don't like the narrator. So I just can't do it anymore. I tried, I just didn't care. Like, literally everybody is just, the way they talk to each other is just, not nice and just super bickery. I don't know. Anyway, I'm DNFing this one, which is sad because I may DNF the whole series. I don't know yet. I planned to DNF the whole series. I was like, I own this whole series. And I was like, and this is why, folks, you should not buy an entire series unless you've read at least a few of the books to decide if it's your cup of tea or not. So I shouldn't have bought the whole series. And I'm sad because I know there are people out there that really like this series. Like, I know a few ladies off the top of my head that love the series. It's just not for me. So I did hear that there is a new narrator for the audiobook. I'm assuming for the rest of the series. So I don't think me DNFing this book and then just starting the next one is really going to matter, because the character development in this is not that much either. It's just not. So the guy that she started dating, I think in the second book, or maybe by the end of the first one, they went on a date, and the second one they were kind of dating. But like, I'm not catching any, like, she really likes this guy, he really likes her type of vibes. It just kind of feels like they've just gone out on a couple dates, and, you know, like if they didn't get together, it was like a take it or leave it. It didn't really matter kind of relationship. That's the vibe I'm getting. So I think I'm definitely not finishing this, but I think I might next month, because Hannah's Book Club, like I said, they're reading this whole series. I might pick up the next one and try the audio and see how it is. And if I still am just like not liking the story or the connections or the communication, then I may just DNF the whole series and sell all of my books. In place of this book, I am going to read another book. So I'm still going to read the other ones that I'm going to read. Well, I'm going to try. Y'all, this month is flying by, and I feel like I am on a hamster wheel and I'm not getting anywhere with my books I'm reading. I don't know why. Here we are. It is almost St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't know where I saw it, but somebody must have been reading the Darcy Hannah, the 5th book in the series, is a St. Patrick's Day themed book. And I was like, and I'm reading this series, and I need to start a series tracker. I do. Because some books in the series that I want to get to, like, I have written down the series that I want to finish this year. I need to get back to that. I need to add to it, because this was one of them and I didn't have it written down, and I need to make sure that if one of the books is around a holiday, that I'm reading it around that time. Not that I have to, because like I've said before, like, I can read, you know, a book outside of the holiday season and it doesn't bother me. But seeing that it's March and St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow, I was like, let me read this book. So in place of this, I am going to start Murder at the Blarney Stone soon. I'm currently trying to finish up My Lucky Charm, which is a romance. I should have it finished by tonight to where I can hopefully read Murder at the Blarney Stone all tomorrow on St. Patrick's Day. We will see. I have to work tomorrow. I usually take off on St. Patrick's Day just because I love St. Patrick's Day. Even if I'm not doing anything, I usually take it off just so I don't have to work. However, somebody already asked off, so I couldn't get off. It's fine. And then tomorrow night, Haley and I are getting our hair done. So hopefully, although sometimes my hairdresser does want to be a little chatty, but I'm hoping that I can listen to my book while my hair is like processing and stuff. Fingers crossed. I don't know. And then I literally have 2 weeks to finish the rest of the books I want to read. I can do it. I always freak out mid-month and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to get my books read, which I don't know why I even care, because like, it doesn't, if they get done, they get done. Why do I do this to myself? And luckily nobody was waiting for the Crepes of Wrath audiobook, so I was able to renew that. So I have nothing that has to be returned on audio right away. So I'm good. So I'm going to read this and then I'll work on the other ones. So slow start for this vlog. Slow start. Okay. I'll come back when I have some more thoughts. Hello friends. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I got my cute earrings on. I got my green shirt on. I did my nails. Look how sparkly and cute they are. I have another change in the vlog. So I was not able to start Murder at the Blarney Bash yet because there's only like 3 audios available and they're all in use. And it says 2 days ago, it was like available soon. And I was crossing my fingers that it was going to be available, you know, today. And apparently those people are taking a long time listening to that audio. So it's not available yet. I do have the ebook for it, but I have not had time to read with my eyeballs. With that being said, I went ahead and started The Crepes of Wrath by Sarah Fox, and I'm going to read the synopsis. So I'm going to be looking this way because it's on my computer. And literally when I was rereading the synopsis, I was like, okay, that's literally what's happened. So I don't really have an update because once I read this to you, you're going to know what's happening. It literally tells you what is happening in the book. I'm at 40%. And this is actually more than 40%. I'm at like 47%. I'm almost 50%. And the synopsis is literally the first half of the book. Okay? So it says, when Marley McKinney's aging cousin Jimmy is hospitalized. Okay, I will preface this and say it says cousin. And as you're reading, you realize that it's her second cousin. So it's her mom's cousin. So it said, I just thought I'd let you know that. So she's not as old as her cousin. It says, when her aging cousin Jimmy is hospitalized with pneumonia, she agrees to run his pancake house while he recovers. With its rustic interior and syrupy scent, the Flipside Pancake House is just as she pictured it. And the surly, I can't say that word. I want to say Shirley, but it is not Shirley. It is surely not Shirley. It's surly. And the surly chef is a wizard with crepes. Marley expects to spend a leisurely week or two in Wildwood Cove, the quaint coastal community where she used to spend her summers. But then cousin Jimmy is found murdered, sprawled on the rocks beneath a nearby cliff. After she stumbles across evidence of stolen goods in Jimmy's workshop, Marley is determined to find out what's really going on in the not-so-quiet town of Wildwood Cove. With help from her childhood crush and her adopted cat, Flapjack, super cute cat name, Marley sinks her teeth into the investigation. But if she's not careful, she's going to get burned by a killer who's only interested in serving up trouble. So yeah, this first almost 50% of the book is literally what it just said. So she starts out there, the cousin's in the hospital. He says he's going to get a cab ride home from the hospital, which she thought was weird because he doesn't take cabs. And she actually never talked to him. One of the other workers at the pancake house did. And yeah, then his body is found just a little while later. So she never actually got to talk to him after he checked himself out of the hospital, which he was not due to leave the hospital the day that he left the hospital. So something was going on. And then, yeah, like it said, she goes to his house and in his workshop finds a bunch of stolen goods. So there had been some break-ins in in some people's residence, and things were stolen, and some of those things were in his workshop. And the police said that he was in on it, which she doesn't believe he was. And even a bunch of people in the town said he's such a good guy that she doesn't see how he could have done it. Like, nobody knows besides like the police and her that these were found at his house. One of her childhood crushes that she had when she was younger and was hanging out with a crowd, like when she would spend summers there or whatever, has come back around. And so, she's talking with him and his family, and someone breaks into the pancake house while she's there late at night. But they didn't really break in. They had a key. So they're trying to figure out who would have had access to get a key or a copy of the key. So that's literally where I'm at. So I am enjoying it so far. It does make me want pancakes. That's probably why I love food cozies, because it always makes me want to eat the food. But I'll probably maybe have some pancakes. Maybe I'll make some pancakes tomorrow for breakfast. So even though I DNF'd Murder Lo Mein, I did go have Chinese food yesterday with my daughter. But that was before I DNF'd it. So we went to lunch yesterday and we got a pedicure and it was so nice. But my husband does not like Chinese food, so anytime we get Chinese, it has to it's just kind of a special thing that we go and eat the Chinese buffet. So that is all my updates. I know this vlog is not really progressing well. So whatever happens, happens. So I am going to continue to listen to this, and I am hoping, because it's pretty quick, it's a fast read. So I'm hoping I can finish this one tonight or by tomorrow morning. I say tonight. See, I don't even know why I put an expectation on it because then it doesn't happen. So I should just say I'm not going to put an expectation on it. I will come back when I have my final thoughts on this, and let's all cross our fingers that the people that have the Darcy Hannah St. Patty's Day book will hurry up and finish it. Hello, I'm back with some updates. I got my hair cut and highlighted. It's fresh again. So I was at the salon for like 4.5 hours last night, which me and my daughter were both getting her hair done, and her hair is longer, and she does like 2 different colors and a toner, and mine's just like partial highlight and a toner. So her hair takes a lot longer to do than my hair, but we were together. So anyway, so I didn't get to listen to my book much because we were chatting about all the things. So I listened for a little bit, and then when we got home, you know, had to do the whole night routine, letting all the dogs out, getting the lunches ready, and then I just read on my Kindle in bed. But this morning I did finish the Crepes of Wrath. So it was really good. The first half of the book was really just getting, you know, the setup of the main character and the backstory and all that, which you kind of need when it's the first book in a cozy series. And none of it was boring by any means. It just literally was like followed along with the synopsis. So then she goes to the lawyer, they read the will. You know, he had left some money with, you know, a couple of the employees at the pancake house. He left some stuff to her mom. He left some things to her. And apparently he had a lot more money than any of them thought. So she was kind of surprised. So this may be spoilers. So if you're going to read this, close your ears for a second or forget what I say or skip ahead. But he left her his house and the pancake shop. And so she doesn't live there. She lives in another city. So she doesn't know if she is going to stay or not. So she's only been there for a few weeks, and she's enjoying getting to know everybody, and she loves, you know, the scenery and the pancake house, and she just doesn't know what she's going to do. So she has to decide if she's going to sell his house or rent out his house, or if she is going to, she doesn't think she wants to sell the pancake house, but she may have to have someone come in and like manage it for her to where she's still the owner, but then somebody else is in charge of it. So while things are kind of getting finalized, you know, she's still at the pancake house, and there's now people kind of flocking toward her because, you know, it's a small town and news is getting out. So everybody's kind of coming and putting a bug in her ear like, ooh, I'd like to buy your house, or ooh, I would like to buy the pancake house. Apparently Jimmy had an ex-girlfriend, and then she ended up coming by and saying that he had, you know, promised, you know, giving her some these like antiques or something that he had, which she knows was a lie because they were her great aunts. So he was like, she was like, there's no way he would give those to her. So it just seems very suspicious. And like everybody is suspicious. She's thinking like, because of course the stolen goods were in his workshop. So she's thinking someone stashed them there, but doesn't know who. And that, you know, maybe Jimmy found out, and that's why he was killed. So there's a whole lot of suspects, and everybody's kind of shady. But so she really doesn't do any sleuthing on her own. She kind of just is kind of like putting pieces of things together as she's like discovering things as she's going through his house, because she has to clean out his house to figure out what she's going to do with it. So she starts doing that, and she starts finding things, and then like piecing things together, and then just conversations that she's having with people that are coming into the restaurant, or that she just sees out and about. So the second half was really fast paced, and there was a couple of like eerie, not scary parts, but like intense scenes. You know, there's a couple break-ins, someone, you know, makes an attempt on her life, you know, things like that. And so it was really fun, and I'm definitely going to continue in the series. Let me see how many's in it. So it looks like there are 8 books in the series, which is not bad. I can definitely get through all of those. The titles. I love a punny title, y'all. So book 2 is For Whom the Bread Rolls. Book 3 is Of Spice and Men. Book 4 is Yeast of Eden. Book 5 is Crepe Expectations. Book 6 is Much Ado About Nutmeg. Book 7 is A Room with a Rue. And book 8 is A Wrinkle in Time. THYME. I love a punny title. So I'm definitely planning on completing this series. When, I don't know, but I will continue in it and I will plan on finishing it. So I am giving that one 4 stars. So I did go ahead and start my next cozy mystery. I'm already 20% into it. I did start 6 Feet Deep Dish by Mindy Quigley. So far I'm enjoying it. So let me tell you the synopsis. Delilah O'Leary can't wait to open her new gourmet deep dish pizzeria in Geneva Bay, Wisconsin, a charming resort town with a long history as a mobster's hideaway, millionaire's playground, and a vacation mecca. Engaged to a hunk with a hefty trust fund, Delilah is poised to begin a life that's just about as delicious as one of her cheesy creations. Just before opening night, though, Delilah's plans for pizza perfection hit the skids when her fiancé dumps her and leaves her with a very large memento from their relationship. Butterball, their spoiled plus-size tabby cat. He's on the cover. He's adorable. And he's sassy. Delilah's trouble deepens when she discovers a dead body and finds her elderly aunt holding the murder weapon. Handsome local police detective Calvin Capone, great-grandson of the legendary gangster, opens an investigation threatening to sink Delilah's pie-in-the-sky ambitions before they can even get off the ground. To save her aunt and get her pizza place generating some dough, Delilah must deliver the real killer. So we do go through her getting ready to open in the shop, and her fiance was in charge. Basically, her fiance is footing the bill for all this. He has a lot of money. However, she pursued him before she knew he had any money. So she definitely didn't go after him for his money. But she has a little bit of a temper, and he kind of doesn't really have an ambition for what she's wanting to do with the shop. So he's basically bankrolling it. She did let him be in charge of getting the new banner made, and it says the wrong words. So it says Sam and Delilah's because it's a play off of Samson and Delilah, and they're opening it together. Deep Dutch Pizza. It's supposed to say deep dish pizza. So they're about to have opening night, and they have a banner that is wrong. And I guess the signage on the front of the store currently is like, it was like a front for like the mobster, you know, it was some kind of like mobster front. So everyone like associates it with the mob. So she's trying to figure out what she's going to do so that people know, excuse you. So she's trying to figure out what she's going to do so that people know it's a pizzeria. Then her and the fiance get in this big fight, and he just is like, I'm out. And he leaves her with the cat. And Butterball is so cute. He is a fat cat, and he likes his food. So he's like cuddly with them, but like with other people, he's kind of like a little snarky cat. And he gets in like tomcat fights. So anyway, it's pretty funny. I don't know what, they weren't quite open yet, and I don't think it was their like opening night or whatever, but the aunt ends up being there. So I guess her aunt has like a caregiver that takes care of her he's like a live-in caregiver, and her aunt, you know, taught her how to cook, and so she just kind of has like a soft spot for her. But her aunt's kind of like, I think like kind of like a snarky old lady. So the aunt has like this tough exterior, but like kind of has a soft spot, I think, in her heart for Delilah. The caregiver ends up getting murdered, and the aunt is the suspect. But the aunt's in a wheelchair. She can't go anywhere on her own, but she is discovered with the body because the caregiver was there with her when he died. And Delilah discovered them when she went out to look for one of her servers that she was about to fire because he wasn't doing his job. Now enter Detective Capone, and we are starting the investigation. I'll be back when I have some more thoughts on it. Hello, I'm back with some updates on 6 Feet Deep Dish. Before I talk about the book, though, it's making me want pizza. So I ended up making my own little version of pizza because I didn't have any pizza. So I did a low-carb tortilla, spread pizza sauce on it, then turkey pepperoni, and then a cheese stick and some more turkey pepperoni, wrap it up, and then lightly fried it in some olive oil. And then I'm dipping it in some pizza sauce. It is so good. So it is satisfying my craving for pizza. So I'm about 60% into the book. I am still enjoying it. So this murder happened and now her fiance is like nowhere to be heard of. So the detective is kind of like, maybe he had something to do with it. She's like, no, absolutely not. I know he didn't, but nobody can get a hold of him. So she has no access to money to actually run her store. Besides like what's already at the shop, like ingredients and stuff, like she can't open. The sign's messed up, first of all. She can't open and she can't pay her employees because she doesn't have any money. So she ends up hawking her engagement ring just so she has money to like pay her staff and like try and get by until she can find her fiance. So Delilah's apartment's like right above the pizza shop. So her aunt is now staying with her, and her aunt is on all kinds of medication and she doesn't know anything about any of it. She has no directions on like, you know, besides what's on the bottles, like what she's supposed to be taking. And the aunt has some type of a reaction to her medication. And so she's in the hospital now. And they're discovering that possibly her aunt isn't as sick as they were led to believe and doesn't need all this medication that she's on. And then also there's a possibility that there's some prescription drug, you know, dealing going on. And that's possibly why the caregiver got murdered. She also hired an ex-con to be like her dishwasher cleaner. She was obviously like, I don't have any money right now. She's like, I can't hire you. But then like he was talking about how he's, you know, he was just released and no one will give him a job. Nobody will give him a second chance. And he's trying to get, you know, time with his daughter and custody. And so she kind of, you know, felt bad for him and decided to go ahead and just hire him. And then she's like, we'll figure out the money later. And so now she's questioning if that was the right move, if he's really like a good guy, or if possibly he had, you know, something to do with this. And then also one of her other workers that she didn't like and was going to fire before she found the body. She's been hearing some rumors about him. So really everyone's kind of shady and she doesn't know who to trust. So the ex-fiance did just show back up, and he said that he like flew off to this island for this like quiet, no cell phone, no electronics type retreat cleanse thing. Which I guess he is that kind of, he's kind of like a yoga guru kind of guy. And he, you know, apologizes, said he overreacted. He doesn't want to break up with her. And so she's like, listen, all this stuff happened while you were gone. I don't even know. I don't have time to work on this relationship right now. Which she did, you know, say, because he asked where her ring was. And she's like, I had to hawk it. You were gone. I have no access to any money at all. She's like, the building is in your name. Everything's in your name. She's like, I couldn't do anything. She was like, I'm dealing with all this other stuff right now. We'll just have to talk about our relationship later. So that's where I'm at right now. So I'm enjoying it. It's a good time. So I'm going to finish eating these yummy pizza roll-ups, and then I will come back later, hopefully finish this. I'm hoping to finish this today. Hello, I'm back with updates. So I did finish 6 Feet Deep Dish actually a few days ago, but my Blarney Bash book wasn't ready yet. So I haven't been reading Cozies, but it did become available yesterday. So yeah, I forgot to come back and do a final update on the pizza book. So here I am. And honestly, I haven't edited the video yet, so I don't even remember what I said in my last update, but just know that there was kind of a, there was some kind of a sneaky backdoor prescription drug dealing going on. And that is kind of what went bad. I was a little surprised at who the killer was. I kind of suspected that person, but then I also thought it was somebody else. So I was like, you know, you never know. So I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm going to settle on 4 stars for it, and I'm going to continue in the series. So far, there are only 4 books in this series, so I have the potential to get caught up before any more are released. Yesterday was pretty busy, but I did manage to start Murder at the Blarney Bash, and I listened to like probably 45% yesterday, and then I started again this morning. So I'm about at almost a 60% now. So I am wearing my lucky shirt and my nails are still green from St. Patrick's Day. So we're still in the St. Patrick's Day season right now. This is book 5 in the Beacon Bake Shop mystery. I'm going to read the synopsis, so I'm going to be looking this way. It says, follow the aroma of shamrock sugar cookies to the Beacon Bake Shop, a lighthouse on the shores of Lake Michigan, where amateur sleuth Lindsay Bakewell is busy preparing for Beacon Harbor's St. Patrick's Day festivities, with a little help from her adorable Newfoundland Wellington, of course. Welly, she calls him Welly for short. Lindsay is baking up a storm. Shamrock sugar cookies, Guinness chocolate cupcakes, Irish soda bread for the well-timed grand opening of the Irish import gift shop, the Blarney Stone, owned by her boyfriend's uncle, Finnegan O'Connor, recently relocated from the Emerald Island. But it's Uncle Finn himself who seems full of Blarney when he gleefully reveals a pot of real gold he claims he stole from an actual leprechaun. And Finn's fortune takes a turn for the worst when he's arrested for the bludgeoning of a small, unidentified man dressed as a leprechaun, the murder weapon alleged to be his own now missing shillelagh. So Lindsay's boyfriend is Rory, and his uncle and cousin are moving to their town from Ireland, and they're opening the Blarney Stone, which is going to be an Irish gift shop. And so basically we start out, Lindsay's at the bake shop and just doing the whole Irish festivities, getting ready. They have a parade where a bunch of kids are dressed up like leprechauns, and one of the store owners ends up getting attacked. And while this little leprechaun is fleeing the scene of that, Lindsay actually ends up bumping into him with her car. It doesn't hurt him or anything, but she's like, that was weird. So it was a little man. She knew it wasn't a kid because it looked like a little man dressed up like a leprechaun. And of course, Rory's uncle, Finnegan, says leprechauns are real. So of course, everyone's just saying he's silly. Obviously, there's not leprechauns. And then said leprechaun ends up found dead. And he was murdered with the shillelagh, which is the little stick, walking stick, which Finnegan does own one of those. But the leprechaun who fled the scene had a shillelagh in his hand. So they don't know if it was the uncle's or if it was the leprechaun's. But then the uncle tells the story that he lured, because everyone's goal is to try and find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So he said he lured the leprechaun in by tasty treats and green beer, and then he followed the leprechaun, saw him digging and putting something in the ground, and then when the leprechaun left, he dug it up, and it was a pot of gold. So obviously they think that the uncle killed the leprechaun for the money, like stealing his money. Lindsay's friend Kennedy has come back for a visit from London, and she's brought a new boyfriend with her. She used to be dating Rory's friend, and now they're not. So there's some like tensions there, and the new boyfriend is kind of shady. I mean, I love anything Irish related. So I'm having a really good time with this. It's fun. And it just cracks me up when I keep talking about little leprechauns. I'm hoping to finish this today. And then the last book I will be picking up for this is A Matter of Life and Death, which I do not have yet. Hopefully I'll have it sometime this week. It should be on its way to me soon because I really want the physical copy. I might start the audio before I actually get the physical copy, but I really just want the physical copy to see what the recipes are because I would like to make a recipe. Because if it has peach cobbler in it, I really feel like I want to make a peach cobbler. I might just make peach cobbler anyway. Anyway, I will be back with some updates, friends. Hello, friends. I got my book and I've already read almost half of it. So the first thing I did when I got this was look at the recipes. There is in fact not a peach cobbler recipe in here. I feel like that's deceiving. You're mentioning this famous peach cobbler, but then you don't put it in the book. I'm sad. So I'm gonna just make my own. I'm just gonna look at something to make my own. But they've got Bavarian chocolate cake, amaretto dream cookies, fudder, which is like fake butter. I don't think I'm making that. Tort chili, Luscious Linda's banana cream pudding. That actually sounds really good. Pork, apple, and fontina sandwiches, pumpkin cream latte. It's not fall, so, and that's it. So It's okay. It's fine. Do me dirty like that, Ellie. So I'm gonna look something up. I don't know yet. I may see if I can find a like individual size one I can make, because my husband doesn't like cobbler and my daughter's never here. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to see. Anyway, so obviously there is a TV show that comes. They ask Jules to be in this competition to win this money. She's excited because they can use the money for the shop. I mean, literally all this really happened is they started to do this competition, and then one of the chefs dies. And then of course, some of the contestants have a beef with each other. So she's basically just trying to figure out connections between people and like why they may have wanted to kill him. That's it. And then of course there's always them at the bakery baking, and which I love everything about that. But yeah, I'm having a pretty good time with it. So I think I'm gonna go try and find a recipe to make. Hey friends, I'm back. I finished this book like almost a week ago and I never came back and did an update. And then while I was doing some editing for this vlog, I realized that I never came back and told you guys what I thought of Murder at the Blarney Bash. So the check-ins weren't really happening for this vlog. My apologies. So I did really enjoy Murder at the Blarney Bash. I ended up giving that one 4 stars. I just really enjoyed all of the Irish setting and all the St. Patrick's Day festivities. That was fun. And then I also liked from the audiobook that it had one of the uncle and the niece they put them with an Irish accent. And so I really enjoyed that because it reminded me of being in Ireland and listening to all the people speaking. So obviously I've already mentioned I'm continuing in that series. So I'm reading book 6 in this series in June, because I think it has a summer theme. And then I will be caught up in that series and I'm very excited. This one, so after the body was found, they did have to put the TV show competition on pause for a little bit. So the producer of the TV show was not happy about that. He's like, I'm on a schedule. We need to keep going. And everybody's like, have some common decency. This man just died here. So the chef that did die did have some history with a couple of the other contestants. Some of that wasn't fleshed out until like later in the story. But basically, Jules was just kind of trying to work through who everybody was and what their connection was with him, and to see like if any of them would have a reason to kill him. So that's pretty much most of the stories that we were going through. And then they did continue the competitions. So that was fun, like reading like reality show type, settings, because I love all those cooking reality shows. Those are so fun. So it's just kind of fun, like watching them go through like the process of trying to figure out what they're going to make so that it's better than everybody else's, and then them cooking during the reality show, and then the taste testing with the judges. It was just a good time with that. So yeah, I enjoyed this one, and I really like the relationship between Jules and her mom, and I like when they're baking together and cooking together in the kitchen. It's just a lot of fun. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. I'm definitely continuing in the series, but I don't know that I actually am going to own them. I do love that it has recipes, but however, like I already have the audio for the next one, which is on thin icing, because I had got it like on an Audible sale for like a couple bucks. So I went ahead and got it because I knew at some point I'd want to listen to it. So I went ahead and got the e-copy of the next book. I'm just going to read it on my Kindle. And I looked through the recipes, and there is actually a recipe in there I want to try. It sounds really good. But so I think I'm just going to get them that way, because really the only reason I love having the books with the baking stuff is for the recipes. But if I can, you know, just get it for my library, and then if there's a recipe I want, I can just copy it down and make it. So I think that's my plan, because honestly, I really don't have room for another big series on my shelf, you know. That is it for this cozy vlog, you guys. Let me know if you have read any of these books. If you did, how did you like them? And until my next video, friends, be yourself, be awesome, be kind. Bye.